ADEQ's mission is to protect and enhance public health and the environment. The Brownfields program is one of the ways in which they do this. The famous Standin' on the Corner Park in Winslow, Arizona, made famous by the Eagles song, is one example of ADEQ supporting both its mission and its dedication to environmentally responsible economic growth. Winslow received grant funding when asbestos was found after a fire destroyed the adjacent building on which the park's mural was painted. ADEQ's Brownfields program provided grant funding for the cleanup activities, and the mural wall was stabilized. For Winslow, ADEQ helped clean up a hazardous material and restore a treasured tourist attraction. There are several resources available if your community has a brownfield site. ADEQ's Brownfields program can help you secure the funding to mitigate any hazardous materials that may exist on the site and help you obtain the financing needed to rebuild it. For another example of how the Brownfields program advances ADEQ's mission and helps towns throughout Arizona, let's examine Camp Naco. Camp Naco is located approximately 220 miles southeast of Phoenix, Arizona, and 700 yards from the Mexican border. The site consists of 23 buildings on 17 acres. American soldiers were first stationed at Camp Naco in 1911, and over the next 12 years, the number of troops there ranged from 50 to over 5,000. Many of the troops stationed there were the famous Buffalo Soldiers. Soldiers left the camp in December 1923, and the camp stood empty ever since. Over the years, Camp Naco suffered from vandalism, erosion, and in 2006, arson. 5 buildings were burned and asbestos was found in the roof tiles. Camp Naco was then identified as a brownfield, the name given to abandoned or underutilized properties, where reuse is complicated by actual or perceived environmental contamination. Camp Naco was an ideal candidate to receive brownfield grants. Brownfield assessment grants provide funding to perform environmental site assessments, asbestos surveys, and lead-based paint inspections. Brownfield cleanup grants provide funding to carry out cleanup activities at a specific brownfield site. Bill Doley, a member of the Camp Naco preservation team, talks about how ADEQ became involved with the Camp Naco project.
Becky Orozco, again, our literally the point person down on the Camp Naco project, was in contact with almost everybody anywhere who would talk to her about the camp. So ADEQ was one of the groups that she'd been in touch with for actually quite a long time on multiple issues. She'd been involved in another Brownfields project down there. One day we got a call from Arcelius Stevens saying that we have an opportunity to bring in some funding to take care of one of those buildings.
ADEQ's funding helped clean up the asbestos, and as Bill explains, there was a lot of other work to be done.
The next step after this one ADEQ-funded building was a larger scale Brownfields grant, and ADEQ actually was the administrative contact on that when they were implementing. And so the rest of the other 19 buildings were done through the Brownfields grant.
ADEQ provided $35,000 to clean up the asbestos. The Camp Naco preservation team secured additional funding from these sources to help with additional cleanup and restoration. ADEQ helped the preservation team find other funding sources and communicated with many of these sources to facilitate the team's applications for additional funding. The Camp Naco project is important to southeastern Arizona because of tourism. Tourism in Cochise County generates over 3,500 jobs and $342 million in revenue each year. The revitalization of this historical landmark plays a large role in the region's economic development and quality of life for area residents. ADEQ's Brownfields program successfully marries the agency's mission of protecting and enhancing human health and the environment with its goal to support environmentally responsible economic growth that benefits places like Winslow and Camp Naco. For more information about this program and how it might help your town, please contact ADEQ.